Donald Trump is making great picks, and he's doing it fast, by the way. Again, he is not wasting time. This is not a lame duck second term. This is a very activist second term, and you can tell by the people he is picking. By the way, this is a constellation of stars. These are all very famous people. And the people that he is picking for these various roles, these are all people who were thinking about running for president or have run for president in the past. It's like a constellation of people who are going to be the future of the Republican Party, not just, of course, the Vice President, J.D. Vance, who's sort of the heir apparent, but also people like Kristi Noem or people like Senator Rubio. These are all picks that are going to have a long future inside the Republican Party. They are young. Waltz, these are all young people. Waltz is only 50. Marco Rubio is 53. Kristi Noem is 52. Right? There's a younger generation of Republican leadership that is now being brought under the tent of President Trump. These are great picks. Really, really great. Lee Zeldin, by the way, was just picked for the EPA administrator. That is good news as well. Lee Zeldin, of course, ran a very competitive campaign in New York that basically won Republicans the House back in 2022. If it had not been for Lee Zeldin's very strong run in New York, where he barely lost to Kathy Hochul in a heavy blue state and really presaged the rise of Donald Trump's numbers in the state of New York, if it had not been for Zeldin, it's very possible that his coattails won Republicans the House in 2022, which was supposed to be a red wave year and really never arrived. Well, now Zeldin, who again is a young up-and-coming star, he is 44 years old. He served 4 terms as a Republican congressman repping Eastern Long Island before losing to Kathy Hochul in a shockingly close race. He is now going to be serving as administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency. He is a pro-markets person. He is going to undo many of the terrible regulations that have been promulgated by the Biden administration. He's going to have a hand, as the New York Post says, in the regulation of new power facilities and transmission lines needed for artificial intelligence. He's also going to be overseeing billions in funding for environmental programs passed under Biden. And he is not going to be handing those out to green boondoggles. President Trump put out a statement. Lee, with a very strong legal background, has been a true fighter for America First policies. He will ensure fair and swift deregulatory decisions that will be enacted in a way to unleash the power of American businesses, while at the same time maintaining the highest environmental standards, including the cleanest air and water on the planet. He added he will set new standards on environmental review and maintenance that will allow the United States to grow in a healthy and well-structured way. Again, Trump is being so pragmatic. He's being so practical about this stuff. You remember that on election night, he name-checked Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in the room. He was very complimentary of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in the room. And you'll recall that he did say, Bobby, don't touch the oil. This is the thing. President Trump, because he likes the winning, he is following policies that are geared toward the winning. He's also bringing back a lot of loyalists who are going to do what he wants them to do. That includes, of course, Stephen Miller, who had a big role in the first Trump administration. Stephen Miller is widely known as an incredibly strong border hawk. According to the New York Times, Stephen Miller, an immigration hardliner and advisor to Trump, is taking over policy planning for the transition and is expected to be named deputy chief of staff in his administration, which, again, he'll be serving under Susie Wiles. This is such a good team. Honestly, it's a really, really good team. Miller's views are favored by Mr. Trump's hardline base. VP-elect J.D. Vance and Donald Trump Jr., who has been influential in the transition, praised the prospective choice on X. Again, this is a unity party, and Trump is building a unity party among all various aspects of the coalition. Honestly, it's hard for me to think how he could be doing better so far. This is really, really a solid Trump transit. I'm loving the winning, and these are all competent people. These are all competent people who are being put in charge of departments that are important, and they're going to clean house. And they should clean house. Have you ever thought about what charities and causes of the brands you give your hard-earned money actually support? Well, Pure Talk, my cell phone company, supports veterans. They are leading the fight against woke corporations. Pure Talk is veteran-led. They actually put their money where their mouth is. They've alleviated $10 million in veteran debt. They donate tens of thousands of dollars every single month to help prevent veteran suicide, and they just donated $50,000 to Mike Rowe Works, providing scholarships to veterans learning trades after active duty. Pure Talk gives you the exact same coverage as the big carriers, America's most dependable 5G network, for literally half the cost. Why are you still giving your money to Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, when there's a better option that actually supports our veterans? And when you switch your cell phone service to Pure Talk on a qualifying plan, you'll get 1 year free of Daily Wire Plus Insider. That means unlimited access to our incredible library of content. Am I Racist? What is a Woman? Mr. Bertram, Run I'd Fight, plus uncensored ad-free daily shows and 1 year free of our new kids platform, BentKey. The only way you can get this special offer is by going to puretalk.com/Shapiro or call and mention my name. Stop overpaying for your cell phone plan. Go to puretalk.com/Shapiro today. Switch to a qualifying plan. Get 1 year free of Daily Wire Plus Insider. All of these departments need to be cleaned of deep state employees who hate Trump and hate his administration and hate what he's about to do. And by the way, they do have plans in place to thwart Trump. So all of that's going to be deeply necessary on the part of Team Trump. Speaking of which, Democrats know they are in deep trouble. Democratic turnout dramatically dropped, actually, in the last election cycle. Now, again, I predicted this. I didn't get everything right in this election cycle, but I got some things right. One of the things that I got right in this election cycle, I've been saying, if you listen to the show a lot, I've been saying for years that in 2020, you had an unprecedented increase in the number of voters. The number of voters increased from 2016 to 2020 by something like 22 million additional voters. Okay, that is unprecedented. Usually, it's 4 to 6 million in any given election cycle that are added to the voter rolls. So my suggestion was that you would see an increase in voter turnout from 2016, but it would be down from 2020. Why? Well, because 2020 was an insane year. As you recall, it was pandemic year, it was BLM year, and everybody was voting by mail. So that allowed ballot harvesters to basically go around to every single house and just pick up ballots. Very little day of voting in terms of percentage in 2020. Well, now people are asking, where did all the Democratic turnout go? And the answer is, in a non-pandemic year where you don't change the rules specifically to allow for widespread, extremely early mail-in voting and ballot harvesting, it turns out that the people on the Democratic side who are low propensity voters aren't necessarily going to turn out. And the people on the Republican side who are low propensity voters did turn out because they like President Trump specifically. By the way, you can see that Trump is more beloved by the low propensity Republican voters than any other Republican. And you can see that in many of the Senate races where Trump outpaced the Senate candidates in places like, for example, Wisconsin and Nevada by tens of thousands of votes. That's something Republicans should remember going forward. It's very easy to overread election victories as a complete referendum, a successful referendum on everything your party is presenting. In reality, every election is a referendum on the candidate. And I think Democrats overread the power and mystique of Barack Obama as a referendum on the wonder of their programming, and they went totally off the rails. I think Republicans theoretically could do that with Trump, although, again, I don't think that many people in the Republican Party are under the illusion that Trump's popularity is immediately transferable to any other candidate. It isn't. He is one of one, as we can all see clearly. I mean, there's no one of one quite like the Donald Trump who is one of one. Okay, but for Democrats, they had a major voter drop-off, and they're trying to figure out why. According to the New York Times, voters in liberal strongholds across the country, from city centers to suburban stretches, failed to show up to vote for VP Kamala Harris at the levels they even had for Joe Biden 4 years earlier, contributing significantly to her defeat by Donald Trump. The numbers help fill in the picture of Mr. Trump's commanding victory, showing it may not represent the resounding endorsement of his agenda the final electoral college vote suggests. They're trying to convince themselves that, don't worry, if we just get the right person, all the people who voted for Biden will show up again. But they don't understand. 2020 was an outlier year. Barack Obama was an outlier candidate. Kamala Harris looks more like baseline. She looks more like, say, Hillary Clinton 2016 than anybody else. And that is going to be what future Democratic candidates look like. If you think Josh Shapiro is going to wildly outdraw, for example, Kamala Harris or Hillary Clinton, I don't know what you've been smoking, but I think everybody deserves some. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.